Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Swords. You're somebody who is taking a look at how you make decisions. What is it in you that's choosing one option over another option? Okay, the Two of Swords is all about not the choices we make, but how we make choices. See, first, the Two of Swords is a multiplication sign. It's saying that we make choices by thinking about stuff, looking at all angles of something, okay? Thinking of both sides of the equation, doing the math, doing the long division, showing your work, right? Using a lot of scratch paper. We're doing the calculations, the pros and cons list, the Venn diagrams, the charts and graphs, the laser pointers, and we're trying to really analyze something in order to decide, do I want Mexican food or Indian food for dinner, right? Those big life choices, yeah. But eventually we realize that the multiplication sign is just amplifying the problem. It's just like we're dissecting something so much when you split things up into their component parts. You just have more pieces to look at, more pieces to sort of analyze and to rotate and to observe, to try to understand, right? So thoughts beget thoughts, beget thoughts. They multiply. They're like bunny rabbits, right? These thoughts we have. So then the Two of Swords becomes a stop sign. It says, analyze something until you're blue in the face and then stop it and use your intuition. After you analyze something and look at all angles, you kind of just stop and you say, what is it I actually want? What does my intuition tell me? You tell me right now in the comments, what is your intuition telling you right now? Not what do you think is the right answer. What does your gut tell you? What does your heart tell you? What does your intuition? What does spirit tell you? What does your spirit guide tell you? What does your guardian angel tell you? Whatever it is. But not the logical mind. Because sometimes your choices are not going to be logical. Because logic might tell you, okay, I tried that once, it didn't work, therefore, I should not try it again. Okay? So very often our thoughts will entangle us, right? And we won't make very important decisions that maybe defy logic, but that we should be making, okay? So I feel like your clarity is really about to surge. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. There is the success. Okay? Yeah, I think that your decisions, your intuitive decision making is going to lead to a lot of prosperity. Okay? I think you're going to find yourself intuitively gravitating toward people and environments that will support your success. Opportunities will appear that align with your success. You've got to make the decisions using your instinct, not your logic. Nine of Cups, oh yeah. Your happiness is going to surge. Two of Cups. A Knight of Pentacles, yes, and a Princess, of course. Of course, a Princess of Swords. Because in the future, you're going to be looking back on this experience and you're going to be learning to trust your intuition. The Princess of Swords is all about learning and how you learn. You learn through doing. You learn to trust your gut by trusting your gut and seeing what happens. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. The end result is going to justify you following your instinct and trusting yourself. Maybe this is decision-making too. Choosing to unite with things that resonate with you on a soul level, that feel like they are aligned with your purpose. Yeah, with your highest good, with your success. It's a soul level connection, okay? It's real, it's love. Follow your love, not your logic, to make your choices right now. You still need to use your logic. Like I said, the first face or facet of the Two of Swords is the thinking. Before you use your intuition, you got to think about stuff. You got to look at all sides of the equation. You got to do the math. Then you follow your gut, okay? And it has to go in that order. Let's keep going. The Magician, oh yeah. 5 of Cups, the Lover's card, and the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah. This is the season for you to really take some big intuitive choices, big intuitive moves, big, bold, intuitive actions to bring about your best life. Now's the chance for you to really manifest your dreams, manifest your success, build the life that you want, okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with big red ant right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. We'll tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments below the video, okay? Hit the like button right now if you feel like this message is for you. As we look around the room, we see 2 major arcana energies, the Magician and the Lovers, okay? I think you're going to find yourself combining forces, gravitating toward people and environments that support your highest good. This is the card of union. This is the card of saying, heck yes, 1000% to something. Even when your logical mind wants to think about it some more, right? Your heart, your intuition, the crescent moon at the top of this card really showing the clue here. And even the crescent, see, look at these 2 cards. And it says that you're making decisions that are going to bring about the success in your life. Claim that right now, okay? Claim in the comments, I'm choosing success. How are you choosing? The key is hidden in both of these cards. You look at the very top of the 2 of Swords, you see the crescent moon. You look at the very top of the 6 of Pentacles, you see the crescent moon, showing the instinct or the intuition or the divine guidance, the trust. Yeah. And so, yes, you're making choices that are going to lead to your, let's say, financial abundance. You're making, this is someone who's really good at business. You're making the right moves, you're going to get paid. But how do you make those decisions? I think you trust. I think you follow your heart, your instinct, your gut. Okay? And you are choosing, you're saying yes to things that resonate with you on a soul level, even if logically, I'm just not sure how it's going to work. I don't know if this is the right thing. I haven't looked at all the facts. I don't have all the data. You'll never have all the data. Never. There's more, like bunny rabbits. The more you investigate, the more there is to investigate. The more you think, the more you think. Eventually, you have to stop thinking and close your eyes and listen. Stop thinking, listen to what's going on in here, right? Does it feel right? Does it feel like this is going to be a pathway to success? Does this feel like a good choice? Now, of course, you don't want that to just be surface level feelings. You got to be able to discern between your appetites, right? Your surface level emotions, chasing pleasure, running from pain. You got to be able to really tap into that intuition, that instinct, Okay. So we have the two major arcana cards. And I think that this is really about you intentionally giving yourself permission to join forces with those things. I think your confidence and your clarity are surging, and you're going to find yourself naturally being magnetized to certain people, places, and things that support your highest good. Opportunities will appear that seem to align with your purpose. You've got to say yes. This is the card of saying yes. Say yes to success right now. We don't have any fire in the reading. Okay? And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the absence of fire is a good thing, because we're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to do something that goes counter to our instinct. I think you're trying to listen more than you're trying to talk. You're trying to receive. It's kind of like, we think of the fire energy as like will. It's like an outward energy. It's a very active, fiery force, okay? It's exertion. It's energy flowing outward. And really the wands are the card of vision. It's kind of like you looking at something. But vision, what is vision really? You're receiving, right? We always think I'm looking at something. I'm purposefully putting my energy outward, and I'm looking at something intentionally. But really what's happening, and that's kind of the shift here, the alignment that's happening now, is that you are receiving the light, because that's what vision is. There's no part of you that is literally going out and it's not like your hand is out there reaching out and touching something and feeling the contours and the shape of something. Your eyes are passive instruments that are receiving light, receiving clarity, receiving it's kind of like the ear that listens. So it's very interesting in tarot, because the fire and the air are the active elements, vision and hearing. Okay? This is the fire and the air. Those are very active elements, but very passive organs of reception. The ear receives the waves of, the vibrations of the atmosphere on your inner ear and those little bones or whatever to kind of to receive the sound, just as you receive the light. Okay? And I guess we can sort of say that with the water element and the earth element too, because maybe when you're reaching out and you're grasping something and you're feeling the shape of something, okay, you're kind of actively doing it. Something from you is extended out and is manipulating an object and gaining information from it. But I guess your nerves are still receiving the signal, But I like that contrast. I like that how it's kind of reversed, you see. Anyway, the point is that you have the absence of fire now because you're trying to receive. You're trying to receive the clarity. You're not out there trying to force things to happen. You are letting the light come in, and you're allowing yourself to be open. You're opening your eyes wide, like that. And you're letting in more light. You're widening the psychic aperture. Okay? It's kind of it's like a waxing moon. It's an opening of the third eye to let in more light. When your pupils dilate, to let in more light. Okay? And that's what you're trying to do, and that's why these are lunar cards. Okay? You're allowing more possibilities. You're allowing more success. You're open to receiving these connections and allowing these relationships to form. You're allowing this perception in that's going to take you to the right people, places, and things that are going to help you manifest your success. And this is the season for you to do that. Okay? Underneath the surface, 9 of Cups. Happiness. The pursuit of happiness. The dreams that you have. I think that there's been dreams that have been delayed for you. I think that you spent a lot of time deliberating on stuff. Now's the time for you to take a lot of action. Translate all that deliberation into intuitive action to manifest this dream. 'Tis the season, right? To take bold action on the dreams that you've been delaying. through your thinking, your decision, your deliberation. Too much deliberation, not enough action. It's not too different than an Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is a lot of rumination and a lot of analysis. Analysis is different than deliberation. I feel like the Two of Swords is more of a deliberation or even contemplation that's getting in the way of action. So now you're intuitively acting to manifest this dream, to pursue your happiness. Is this bringing you a deep sense of fulfillment? Does this feel good on a soul level? It's probably a good idea to try it then. This is about abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. This is you living a happy life, a rich and fulfilling and meaningful life. Give me a heck yes in the comments. Claim this reading, claim your happiness. Because right now it's under the surface. Because right now what you're doing is Knight of Pentacles, looking at the future. You're looking at the mountain in front of you. Perhaps looking at the summit of the mountain, or you're looking at the train, you're looking at the journey. But see, the Knight of Pentacles isn't moving. You're looking at your potential future, who you are, where you are, what you're doing down the road. You're looking at your goals, basically, right? Looking at your dream. Deliberating. Which pathway should I take? Should I go around to the west? Should I go around over to the east? Should I take the northern pass or the southern pass? What should I take with me? Protein bars, trail mix? I need some water. You know, what does my horse need, right? This is a lot of deliberation, but we haven't yet begun the process. So there's kind of, to me, suggests a delay. Suggests that you need to then rely on your instinct and your gut and your internal abundance, really, to sort of to give you the pathway, to give you the decisions so that we can take action. We need to get the horse moving. It's time to giddy up. Yeah. Because this is, again, this is the dream. This is you deliberating the best way to manifest the dream. And while we're here deliberating, we're actually not making progress. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to tap into our heart. Okay? We need to really, in a deep way, have this kind of emotional clarity, emotional confidence, so that we can make the intuitive choices that will get the success, that will get the progress. Okay? Because this might be like you're kind of looking at the summit of the mountain, okay? But we're still deliberating the best way to get there. This looks like real success, okay? And you might find yourself, you know, contemplating or deliberating a particular person or environment and asking, is this where I want to go? Is this a right fit for me? Is this the job I should take? Is this the relationship I should get into? Is this the course of action that I should take? Is this the goal I should pursue? And if it is, how do I do that, etc.? A lot of deliberation. What do we get when we add the 3, actually starting the work? When we add that to the 6, we get a 9 of Pentacles. What is the 9 of Pentacles but gain, progress, trajectory, visible sign of progress, your life going up and to the right? If this is a financial dream, if this is relationship goals, if this is life goals, whatever the goal is, doesn't matter. You got to get to work. You got to start the journey. You got to start the climb. You've got to make the decision about what goal to pursue and make the decision to start pursuing it. Get your feet moving. The pentacles have to start rolling here, okay? So the 6 is kind of that ideal. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see like the goal shining, the treasure shining in front of you, and you're looking at it. And you're thinking, I think that's what I want. Is that what I want? And then once you decide that, you think, how do I get it? How do I do it? Should I do this or that? Left or right, up or down, 1 or 2, right? Door A or door B? eventually you have to start actually doing that work and moving your feet and traveling that road. Then you have a 9 of Pentacles, and that is literally the card of traveling the road, making progress, pushing the ball down the field, pushing the needle in the right direction, pushing the line of your trajectory up and to the right. Okay? Getting things rolling, putting things in motion. Yeah, doing the work. So I think you're picking your goal, and you are figuring out the best way, probably the most effective way of getting to that goal, and you're using your heart. You're using your gut, your instinct. The 2 of Cups back here is a card of love. Okay? And this is really, to me, it feels like a trust in yourself. It feels like you really value and honor your emotions, your intuitive kind of instincts, whatever you want to call them. Okay? That you trust your feelings. And I think that with our 5 of Cups here in the environment, this is a card of disappointment. This is the card of something that should be there but's not. Okay? And I think that when you do not trust your feelings, I think things have ended sort of badly. Things have been a disappointment for you. Okay? I think when you do trust your feelings and you make decisions as a combination of heart and mind, because again, you want to do the deliberation. You want to think things through. You need to. You have to. And then you trust your intuition. Maybe what it's really saying here is that if the intuition comes first and then the deliberation comes after, maybe then there's disappointment, right? But if you're able to think something through and really understand what your heart wants, what it's telling you, and what you're devoted to, what you wish, this is a card really of wanting to unite with something. This is the urge to merge. This is really like attraction, soul level attraction. But you're deliberating whether or not to go after that goal. Okay? This is the union. This is the love. This is the marriage. All right? Love and marriage. Okay? Go together like a horse and carriage. This, I'll tell you. You have to have that love. You have to want this. So give me a heck yes if you want this in your life. If you know what the goal is that you want and you're finally ready to just make a decision and go after that goal. Trusting that this, kind of like saying, love is enough. Love conquers all kind of thing. If you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. You'll stop deliberating and you'll move forward to live your dream, to manifest that fulfillment that you want more than anything. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. I want you to claim this reading. Okay? Allowing yourself to want this, whatever the goal is. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is why you want it and how you're going to go about doing it. Doesn't matter what it is. Your goal can be anything. Maybe you want to open a bookstore or a Jamba Juice. Maybe you want a family. Maybe you just want to make some friends. I don't know. You want to join a club. Doesn't matter, right? Maybe this is a career choice of jobs, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. What's the mountain you want to climb? You have to want it more than anything else. Don't make the choice just based on what's kind of logical. Make the choice based on what it is your soul really wants to unite with. Okay? And I'd love to hear your story. If you want to share this with me, you're in a very safe and supportive place. The Dove and Serpent community is a wonderful community. 99% of the people here and the comments on this channel are loving and supportive and beautiful. This is a safe place for you to share your thoughts, your feelings, your concerns, your deliberations, and share your goals with the rest of us. You got to join our tribe here. You got to hit the subscribe button, okay? So the Princess of Swords in the future position, in a way, this is what you've learned through this process. I think that every step you take you sort of look back at that last step you took, and you think, okay, now how did I do? You know? So you make a move, you make a choice, you take one step forward, and then you think, was that a positive step? Was that a step in the right direction? And then you say, okay, how did I make that choice? Did I deliberated, and then I trusted myself, and I took a step. And that step led to progress. So you're kind of learning, you're reinforcing, you're training yourself to trust yourself, you see. And so you're allowing yourself room to fail. That's what usually the princesses are cards that say, it's okay for me to try things and fail at them. It's okay. Giving yourself permission to not always know the answer, because we're learning. And when you're learning, when you're a white belt, you're going to make mistakes. When you're trying to be a magician, you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes your manifestations aren't going to work, and you have to then look back and say, okay, what was my mistake? Was my mistake that I try to do the right thing rather than doing what I knew, what I felt, or what I thought was the right thing, right? Instead of doing what I felt to be the right thing? So you're kind of, you're learning from every step you take. And so you're able to reinforce, you're able to rewire your brain. You're rewiring your aura, you're restructuring your spirit. You're putting your soul into alignment. And I think that you're able to kind of like look at something and say, well, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Okay. Was I too much in my head about it? Or was I maybe too much in my heart about it? Maybe there wasn't enough of a balance. Because the magician, now this is your general energy, Spirit's trying to show you how to be a magician. That's what tarot does. It's trying to reveal to you that you already are the magician and how maybe you can do it better, how you can manifest changes in accordance with your will more effectively, how you can optimize your life and yourself and your function in the world. Because sometimes there are a lot of blockages that prevent us from manifesting, from transmitting our intention out to the world. Okay. The Spirit's trying to show you that you are the magic maker. I want you to claim your role as a magic maker in the comments right now. Okay? Because as a magic maker, you know that you have to program your own soul, your own aura, your own nervous system and brain, your own mind. And maybe we have to undo some training. You know, there's nothing worse than like someone that kind of learned things the wrong way. Like I play the drums, right? And I remember my last drum teacher was frustrated with me because when I first learned how to play the drums, I'm left-handed. But instead of playing cross-sticking like this, I play open-handed, okay? And the later drum teachers in my life would get frustrated because I learned bad habits. I learned the wrong techniques when I was younger. It's much more difficult to unlearn something, right, than it is to just learn it the right way to start with. So don't get frustrated with yourself. When we realize that we sort of learn things the wrong way, and we have to now train ourselves to trust the intuition again. I think that, especially when we're younger, we're kind of told that there's like a right and a wrong way to do things. We're kind of told, especially in our culture, that your cognition, your intelligence, your logic, and your rational thinking mind is supreme, right? Is the kind of the pinnacle of human evolution, right? Is our ability to think and reason and do math. And yeah, you know, whatever. Maybe just because it's I don't know if it's like the most recent part of us to evolve. It doesn't mean it's the best, you know? It just means it's another tool. It's another way of experiencing the world. But I think that, at least in the West, I don't know, in other places, but it seems to be in this Western culture that we prioritize thinking, rational decision-making more than we do intuition. More than we do gut feeling. You know, your gut, it's like your second brain, you know? And I think that between your head and your gut, you got to listen to both. You got to use both. I'm not just going to use my head and leave my gut or my heart, whatever this area, leave it out of it. I'm missing out on a whole mode of perception that has been evolving in us for, I don't know how long. Long time. Okay? Long time. More years than I can count on my fingers and toes. And so the magician, I think, understands how we might have to do the work, try and fail, in order to rewire ourselves so that we can maximize our potential, optimize our behavior and our choices and our functioning so that we can get the most out of life. It's kind of like, they used to say that, well, we only use like 20% of our brains, I don't think that's true anymore. I think the brain is pretty much active all over the place, but we only use maybe 20% of our potential. Okay? Our persona, our nervous system, our mind, and our brain filters out 99% of the electromagnetic field and waves around us. We only perceive a very small fraction of, the energy that's around us. Okay, so with the Magician card, this is about trying to learn new ways, in this case, learning new ways of making decisions and choices and taking actions so that we can align with our highest good. And I think that this is about you trusting yourself and entering into those environments and those relationships that will support your highest good. Trusting that whatever goal you have, if it's like you're thinking about a partnership or a job or a particular relationship or some kind of a business thing or an investment, that you trust yourself. You do the work, you do the math, but then you also listen to the other part of you. That is a very wise and ancient part of you. Because the magician wants to be the best magician that they can be. You want to optimize your magic and your power of manifestation, right? The art and science of manifesting your will and your life and creating the life that you want. I want you to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Let's bring some positivity, okay, into the comment section. Let's spread love and light. Let's comment trust. Let's comment magic. Okay? And let's give ourselves permission to try new things and fail at them. Maybe you said, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to go over here and talk to this group of people. And then you walk away and you think, well, nope, that didn't work. I'm going to try to solve my problem doing it this way instead today. Well, that didn't solve the problem. Okay, well, what did I learn? Instead of doing things the same way we've always done them and continuing to get the same results, or staying stuck in a position of deliberating, not knowing what to do, and not making any progress. Meanwhile, the clock's ticking, So in the environment, you have a 5 of cups. That's disappointment. That's something that should be there, but is not there. Okay? And I think that is, well, it's part of the motivation for change. Because when you realize that there's something missing from your life that you really want, it motivates you to make other choices. That, if you keep doing the same thing, making the same choices, and you keep getting disappointed, well, that means you didn't really learn anything. So if you attempt something and you end up sad and disappointed because it didn't work out your way, you need to learn what it is that you did, how you did it, how things functioned, so that when you try it again, and you must try it again, you can get a better outcome. Okay, so we can use disappointment as a tool. I think the disappointment also comes when you do not trust yourself or trust your intuition, because that can work both ways. Because if you're not trusting your gut, you may end up in relationships or environments that are massively disappointing for you. Okay? Just as by not trusting your gut or not trusting your intuition, you may not end up in relationships or environments that are very good for you, and thus leading to disappointment again. So it seems to me like the failure to trust yourself or to trust your gut can lead to disappointment. Okay? Either through a failure to unite with what is needed, or for you uniting with the wrong things. And that's exactly why we've got the Lover's card in this position. It's all about the choices and how you make choices. Okay? And it's all about what you're entering into combination with, and whether those combinations with people, places, or things align with your purpose or not, whether they work or they don't work. So you have to say yes to things, and then you have to say, okay, did it work? Then I'll keep making the choices the same way. Doesn't mean you keep saying yes to the same things. It means that you've understood part of the process. That's the strategy, that's the processing of the magician. You're understanding how to make choices. And then you make another choice and you say, okay, did that work? If yes, then you continue making the choices in the same manner. And then always saying, okay, did it work? What if did it work? No, it didn't work. Okay, then we look back and we say, I'm not going to make the choice the same way again. I'm going to have to alter something. I need maybe more balance between my head and my heart. And maybe that's what this ultimate choice really is. Maybe this is the big 1,000% heck yes to the union between your head and your heart. You know, it's only in the Western culture that we separate the heart and the mind. In Eastern philosophy, Chinese philosophy, Taoism, right? Really any of the Chinese philosophies, probably all of the Eastern philosophies, heart and mind are one thing. Heart and mind is one organ, right? It's one entity. It's not separated. It's only in the West that we separate. You can't think about something without a corresponding value judgment or desire or feeling. You can't feel anything without actually then having some sort of thoughts attached to it. These are your beliefs. These are your values. They're tied up together. Your heart-mind. Okay? Your heart-mind. It's one organ. Anyway, the final card is the Three of Pentacles. It all comes down to that simple question. Did it work? If it worked, good. Keep doing things a similar way, making choices the same way. Keep taking steps. Keep reflecting on your choices and make more choices until they stop working. When they stop working, then you have to alter something, make a little adjustment, and keep going. Okay? I think that you're finding a lot more alignment, a lot more people, places, and things. Three of Pentacles, right? A lot more people, places, and things that are supportive of your goals and your purpose and your highest good. Now let's look at the mystery card. I want you to claim this. Okay? Let's get to work. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe it will be a little bit of fire. Yeah. Maybe this is going to be it might be a Princess of Wands. If you have a prediction, I want you to put it in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Okay. Let me know what your favorite moment is from this reading. Okay. Shout out to everybody that leaves comments that are time-stamped, because I like to know what you're reacting to. When I see the timestamp, and I know kind of what part of the reading you're responding to. You know, I like that. Let's see what this card is. Four of Pentacles. This is habit. Okay, to me, this is a card that needs to change. If you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same result. You'll keep feeling the same feeling. Okay, if you've been doing the same thing or really not doing anything and still feeling disappointed, it's time to change our behavior. It's time to do something different. But this is us clinging to bad habits, really, because they're familiar, because they're comfortable, because they're easier. And remember, it's difficult to unlearn a habit. You know, like in music, I'm playing the drums. I have bad habits. It's impossible for me to unlearn the bad habits. What you got to do is overwrite them with good habits, with a different way of doing something, right? Because the more we do something, the more it gets entrenched in our mind, in our brain, right, through neuroplasticity. We create literal grooves in our brain. And so it's easier for energy to flow in those grooves. Now, it's impossible to erase those grooves. What you have to do is create new ones. that eventually will overpower the old ones. And it takes time, okay? It takes time to change our behavior, to change our habits, to change our mindset, to change the way we make decisions, to change our behavior, to change our physical nature. The pentacles are the slowest moving of the energies. Remember that. It may be your heart and your mind and your will may be very fast, but then we say, gosh, it didn't work because the world is still the same. The pentacles take a lot longer to respond to your efforts. Okay? You can't just do something once and say, well, I should have created a new habit. Why isn't it easy? It takes repetition to slowly mold the physical environment, the physical material stuff. Okay? And that's a lesson that the magician has to learn too. It's not instantaneous rabbit out of a hat. It takes time for the material world to respond to your intention, your vibration, to your magic, to your decisions and choices, to your input. Keep that in mind. The earth, the pentacles are the slowest moving of the elements. Now we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner here. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Scorpio, Mondays and Thursdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. Let me know your favorite moment from today's reading. Let me know which card here resonated the most with you. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.